What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Troy Rawlings here. Welcome to another exciting episode of Meet the. This is the episode. This is episode 100. I ain't mean to spaz out and scared to guess, but this is episode 100.
100. Them C notes.
100. Yeah, 100. 100. And I had a lot of, like my man Run from Run DMC said, there are a lot of superstars on the stage tonight. But I had a lot of people on the show and some people that I wanted to be episode 100 and this, that, and other. And my brother from another mother, one of the guys, when I got here to Los Angeles, y'all know I'm from B-More. I got here to Los Angeles 13 years ago. Not to date this, but 13 years ago, this was a brother I met in 2008, and it was Automatic Connection. And he just started, you meet people that pour into you. Humble cat. At the time, he already owned Profile Limousine. He had Profile Limousine. He was doing the first Fridays at Stevie's. For many people in Los Angeles, you know how important to the live music and entertainment and great food. And he was doing first Fridays. And he walked me through the process of what he was doing, even though I was doing promotion and stuff. It's always good when you go to a town you're not familiar with. And this is a California native, to have somebody show you the ropes. And he just opened his doors to me. And the next time, well, without further ado, before I get into all that, we're gonna be talking for a while. But Bay Entertainment, Jazzism, one of the first Fridays at Stevie's. If you're here in Los Angeles, you remember from that. Now also LA Biz Guy, back in the day, Hitmakers. He has the CB collection, which if you see me spraying, y'all always asking what I'm wearing. CB collection. He just lost the CB collection. This brother is a wealth of information and one of the most humble cats I know, unless you're partying with him. Give it up. I mean, DeAndre Landers, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? That's an incredible introduction. I got to write some of that stuff down myself. You know, it's been busy, man. It's been busy, though. You know, it doesn't feel that busy. You know, I guess when you like and you love and, you know, what you're doing, it doesn't feel that busy. But, no, I appreciate it. It's been just a long time coming, my brother. Long time coming.
Yeah, just to sit down. I didn't even get a chance to get you on LA. Well, the first run of LA Radio now, but we're gonna work on some stuff now with the new launch of everything. Because this brother has tips and tidbits, and you know, we literally got together the other day. And how long were we together? We went to a park to meet up.
It was supposed to be for 15 minutes. You know, it went a couple hours. You know,
couple hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're gonna be episode 100. So thank you, brother, for coming on. Thank you for all you do. And I know people. You're gonna see this on different things. People want to share it. You get the YouTube link, the LinkedIn, blah blah blah. But for those that don't know you, I'm gonna go back. We're gonna go all the way back. I'm gonna Tarantino this interview a little bit.
Okay.
So where are you originally from? For those that don't know,
I'm from the Bay Area, specifically Vallejo, California. Love that place. Love my people there. Whatever. Leaving the Bay Area period was like a culture shock. It's not a whole lot of things going on that happen in LA or other big cities. You know, it's a lot of humbleness in the Bay Area. We believe in honoring women, and we believe in loyalty. You know, when I'm down here doing my thing, I get a lot of credit for being, oh man, you treat women well, you get the door. I've been that since I was a kid. So, but what I was taught up there, that's normal up there, right? You know, people put on the pedestal here, like this is normal. So I feel like, you know, they may be sound like the man out here, but up there in the Bay, man, we get taught a lot about humility up there, man. You know what I'm saying? And so, but yeah, so that's where my roots come from, and then loving entertainment, loving business, you know, and so, but don't get me wrong, I came here in 94, you know, and I was 24 years old at the time, you know, so don't get me wrong, LA has been good to me, you know, as far as, you know, just experiencing different people from different parts of the world. You know, I have a lot of people that I've met that have left LA, right? And they say, oh, it's crazy down there. I said, it's about the circle you put yourself in. You know, LA's been good to me. I've been surrounded with some great people, man. Just like you mentioned earlier, you say, you know, how we came together, whatever. I got hundreds
Right.
of people. I got hundreds of people that have welcomed me with open arms and showed me the ropes, you know, and about LA. You know, when you go to a big city, there are always ropes to learn. When you go to any big
Yes.
city, it's just done differently, right? You got to know the city. It's not about, no matter what skill you have to learn where to apply them.
Right. Right.
Right. So there's a lot of people, a lot of homework done. There's a lot of people that opened up to me and supported me as well.
Yeah. I I've I'm I was thankful for meeting you, like you said, and because it's the normal thing. You're like, well, how's LA treating you? How people? I hear people in LA are phony. I was like, well, people everywhere are phony. That's just nature. Plus, it's a bunch of actors here. What are you talking about? But it was,
Right.
I hear people this, but how's it treating you? How so? And you said something key. LA has been good to you. A lot of people don't understand that for the most part, because somebody may have bad stories according to it. But any place you go to is usually what you make it.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you said it's normal, it's second nature for you to be the gentleman you are. Yeah, you take it to the next level. Because we was talking about that. I was taking some tips. I can be Mr. Relationship Guy when I'm doing my taboo talk. But I was like, yeah, I need to do more. Say it again. 2 bottles per woman. We've been at events together. Yeah, he's schooling me on some things. But a lot of it makes a big deal, making sure we know I'm the same way. The women in my life who helped me with just life and business and walking, they're golden. My sisters, they're amazing. And let's jump there for a little. I'm gonna jump there for a little bit. Because right now you do a lot of business consulting more than usual. Before you were doing it, but I don't think you were really getting paid for it.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now LA Biz Guy is a bona fide business, and you help people on a level that most people still don't understand because you're still not getting paid what you're worth. I mean, be honest. But the pendulum, would you say the majority of your clients are women?
Yeah, I would say 95.5% of my clients are women.
Right. And that's a big deal because in such a prevalent time with Me Too and all the stuff that's going on, people don't realize how quickly we have to nip stuff in the bud when someone's disrespecting women.
Right. I don't allow that.
Especially, and it makes a lot of sense when they look up and they see the event and there are only certain guys that you work with. Like even when we were doing Jazzism, pull me in on that, and it's me, you, maybe 1 or 2 other brothers, and
Chavez,
7.
Chavez and
Right.
Phil. Chavez and Phil James, Chavez Frater. Those are my dudes right there.
Right.
Yeah.
And they all have the same demeanor. How
Absolutely.
important is it to have people on your team that are like-minded and have the same energy of you or higher?
To be honest, that's more important than the event itself. Okay? Like I said, when I come up, man, this may be a little different than a few other people, but I grew up like nothing I'm doing. I'm bringing this up because there's nothing I've done successfully that wasn't primarily based on my relationship with women.
Right.
It didn't happen the way it happened if I didn't have the relationship I have with the women around me. Right? So I came up, single mom. My god sisters were raised by a single mom. My other god sisters were raised by a single mom. Maybe 70, 80% of any young ladies in my life growing up raised by a single mom. And I was the youngest of most of them, -1, right? But I was still treated, I was a young man, right? And so what I tell people is that everything that has come good to me has come by way of a woman. If it's good information, a hookup on the job, someone putting me in my place, checking me, looking out for me, you know what I'm saying? When I couldn't look out for myself, just like, hey, they thought about you. They had my back when I didn't know I needed my back had, right? You know what I'm saying? And so for my sisters who I had my worst fights with in life, they were my biggest competition. I was a fighter when I was young, but my sisters were the ones that had to fight. But they also was the ones, right, that made sure I almost didn't have to fight outside of them, right? They were respected as well. They were fighters as well. But the point is that part is not important. The point is that the people that was around me had my back to no end. And they shielded me from a lot of things that could have took me in another direction. You understand what I'm saying? And the fact is that my two oldest, I have two sisters, they're older than me. They're 2 and 4 years older than me, right? And so we weren't too far away from each other. So we actually did grow up together. It wasn't 5, 6 years between us. So we actually grew up. You know, my younger sister, who was about 18 months older than me, right? Like we went through elementary, junior high, and high school together just 1 year apart.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So it developed a relationship. Right. So the relationship right there. You know, and like I said, and because we were the closest, we fought the most, right? But there were times when my sister got old enough to get a job, right? And when I didn't have a job, like we could fight in the morning, talk crazy to each other. Now, I'm not just junior high and high school, right? So we could fight. But if she and her friends are walking by, her and her girlfriends are walking by me, we pass each other in the hallway, she would say, "Are you straight? You need something? Whatever." No matter how we fought in the morning or the night before, fist fighting, everything. But when she would walk past, it wasn't a time she didn't say, "You straight, little brother?" Right? And we may not talk again for weeks. Not that we don't want to talk to each other, just our schedules. You know what I'm saying? We were both running track and playing basketball, whatever. So we don't see each other too often, right? But the fights, bumping heads and all that, but she would always say, "You all right, little brother?" Now, my older sister, she'll fight for me today, right? She in her mid-50s. If I say I got a problem with Troy, she could just ask me for an address. That's it.
Right. Knock on the door, won't even say nothing. You Troy? Yeah. Oh, wait.
Look, not that Troy. Troy Stevens, not Rawlings. Oh, she just told me, right? And so I'm gonna spend not too much time on it, but I'm going to lay a very important part. This is why I learned something. When I was in junior high, this is a mother story that really changed the game for me. When I was in junior high, I got into a fight. You know, back then, you get in a fight, you suspended no matter who started it. You're getting kicked out of school, right? And then, so you don't come back till you bring your parent with you. Sit down with the counselor and whatever, right? So Mr. McKnight was the counselor then at junior high, out there at Franklin Junior High. And they use that, when you're a kid, the adults, they use psychology on you. Say, I was honest. They say, "Hey, so why are you fighting this guy?" "I hate that dude." That's why, right? I was always that guy, right? I'm gonna tell you, I was a fighter, right? So why you hate that guy? So this is when we having a little meeting with my mom and the counselor, right? Why you hate? I hate him. That's why. He messed with me, and so we fought, right? And so we use that psychology, like, really, you really hate yourself for doing it, blah 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 blah, right? Use that, right? And I'm a kid, so I'm getting influenced by his words. Say, yeah, right? So we go through the paperwork. Say, you can come back. Thanks, Miss Landers, for coming by. So you can come back to school tomorrow. So while we're walking outside, my mom and I, she stops me. We get about halfway through the parking lot, right? She stopped me. She said, "You okay?" "Yeah, I'm cool. What do you think about Mr. McKnight?" But I'm thinking I'm say the politically correct thing. I think he's cool. I think he's nice. That's what kids do. Say what parents want you, what you think parents want to hear, right? My mom sat. She kneeled over to me and she stopped me. She said, "I think he's foolish-ish." She said, "Don't you ever." She said, "I don't care what you do. I know you're protecting yourself. I don't care what you do with. Don't you ever let nobody tell you hate yourself under no circumstances." Changed the game for me, man. See, and parents don't know sometimes. They forget what kind of impact that they have on children, whether they're the parent or the friends,
Mom's
right?
Not here anymore.
Right.
I'm trying not to get emotional, but think about those conversations, man.
Exactly. We take them for granted. You're right. Now, this happened when I was, 11, 12. I'm 52, and I'm telling you this story, right? Because it's still in the front of my brain on how it impacted my life.
It's pretty amazing how now, like you said, you're 52, how now we're blessed to have a time when me, you, some females, some guys, we can get together at a restaurant and we can talk an hour about self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that wasn't before, because there was a time when Black love was important, I'm talking about just base self-love. It can be all kinds of nationalities around us.
Right.
And we all have different stories associated with it. But the common thing before, a lot of times, was an authority says something negative about you, you rock with it, and it determines your life. But we don't always talk about the people like our parents, our moms. My mom did the same thing when she was talking to me about relationships. That's why I do what I do now. That same conversation at 12 years old, but different and some different. Like, look, don't you come to me. You're not going to get in trouble to talk to me openly. I was like, you're the disciplinarian. You beat me.
Right.
Like, you're the one that beat me. But
Right.
I won't get beat if I come to you talking about sex. It changed. It once again changed my relationship with women as well.
Yeah.
So that's a powerful thing. And ladies, you have to be mindful of that. Single mothers, stuff like that. You're gonna have a lot of jewels in this one. So, I don't know. We might have several segments of this.
Right.
It's important, women, how you treat your sons, of course, how you talk to them and pull them aside. I'm having conversations with my daughter that I know sometimes she's probably like, and then I have to break down why I'm having this hard conversation, because I want you to, you don't know what conversation is going to be. Like if you talk to your mom and ask is she still alive? Is your mom still alive?
No, she passed in 2015.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So, but if you have the conversation with them, sometimes they may remember, sometimes they don't, or sometimes they remember the time and the point. But as a parent, you don't know what conversation is going to dip in. Mm-hmm. As a consultant, as a counselor, as a mentor, you don't know what conversation is going to strike in. What's some of the most surprising conversations that hit you the most? Like, well, let me say it this way. What's one of the most surprising success stories of a client or somebody you menteed in business that you didn't think they were getting what you were pouring into them, but you look at it and they're doing phenomenal now?
No one.
Good.
Let me tell you, the ones that I've mentored, usually you can tell how far, right?
They're hungry from the beginning.
Yeah, the ones that I anticipated to be great are doing great. The ones that aren't doing, maybe what they might have expected, what I might have expected in the beginning, what I want for them, right? Mm-hmm. You can tell where they're temporary. They hot right now. So what I can tell you, right? They hot in the moment. They busy. They like, I'm down. Let's do this, DeAndre. Let's do this. I'm ready to sign up, and they fade off in about a year or so. But you can see that coming by the way they absorb or not absorb what you're saying. You can see that by how important or how much of a priority your phone calls are, how long they take to reply to your emails, right? Things like that. There's always signs, right? There's always signs. So I don't have less expectations of them. I just have no expectations of them. I'm gonna do what I can to help them as long as they allow me to do so, right? So, but the ones that are doing well, or at least by, they have just improved or grown at a rate equal to or greater than what I anticipated, I saw that in them beginning because they showed the signs, right? And let me tell you one common denominator for those people. They all had someone that was in their corner, whether a husband, a boyfriend, a best friend, and that guy, it was always a guy in their life that had their back. It was always a gentleman. The ones that are doing well always had a man in their life that was very close with. The man was their best friend or their boyfriend or their husband, right? All those are doing well because they got that support from a man, right? And I think it matters, right? And I think they have a lot to.
I'm glad you said that, and it's not a chauvinistic thing. People got to realize if we can get up as men and say the greatest portions of our life have been introduced, influenced, and navigated in some sort of way or narrated in some sort of way by a woman, I think it makes sense that on the other end, you know, believe it or not, because I know some people are like, well, no, there were no man, a bunch of strong women in my life. Nah, look at your life again. You know, it might have been that male teacher. It might have been a male. It might have been the male friend. A lot of, like you said, a lot of don't realize that this male best friend just encouraging them was some kind of protection, or some kind of. And when I say protection, I don't mean just stopping them from getting harmed physically or something like that. I mean protection, as in, you know, just a guidance. You want to go off, or you're feeling emotionally hurt, and that person becomes a sounding board. That's important.
Yeah.
Now I believe now. I strongly believe this, and I'll roll into the next thing, because I want to jump into when you first started events, your first event that you did. I do believe that it's necessary for a man to have strong men around him to pour into him, and for women to have strong women around them to pour into them. How important has that been for you finding a brotherhood, especially when you came down here to LA?
Yeah. Well, the difference is, here's I think why it works, right? You just need someone, because you will get, if you have a close man and a close woman in your life, you will get different perspectives.
Right.
Right. And let's be honest, we know this whole thing about women are a little bit more emotional, right? So your girlfriends will support you because that's what they do.
Right.
They support you. But it's that girlfriend that would check you and call you the B word, and y'all laugh about it. Like,
right.
No, you don't need to go that route. You need that one in your life, right? Right. If you don't have that, usually the women who don't have a lot of women that are close to them, they have men that are close to them.
Right.
They have one or the other, right?
Right.
And so my point is this: though all my clients and mentees are women, all the people that mentor me are men, right? And here's the thing: I think the man's voice. You know how when you have a mother and a father in the house or whatever, some kind of leader, right? Some kind of guardian, the man's voice, because it's a man's voice, a little deeper, a little more stern. People hear it better, right? It works with children, right? I think it's the same when men are talking to women, right? It's a man's voice, it's a little more stern, and it almost commands attention, right? And you hear a little deeper, right? And so I think that has a lot to do with it. And my ultimate point is, you earlier you said, well, you know, why is it important that I have a relationship with women? I think the important part is this. Brothers out there who are in business in any way, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're in the corporate world or you just got some experience, okay? I think it is incredibly, incredibly important that we let our sisters know that they're not alone. Yes, there's brothers out there that will help you, that will support you. We don't get enough opportunities to say it and show it, because a lot of times men hang with men and women hang with women. Right. But the difference is we will. But brothers, you need to let women know that you're there for them. You can't just assume that they expect that they know that. Men and women both, and children, right? They go by what you show them, right? So if you want someone to confide in you, it's your responsibility, not for them to trust you. It's your responsibility first to let them know that they can do so. Right. And that comes from communication. And if you let women know, I'm talking to men right now, if men let women know that they can confide in you on the business aspect, whatever, then they will. Because, you know, especially if you know they trust you, if you're good friends, let them know. Because you need that other perspective. They got their girlfriends that support them, that can mentor them as well. But when you get it from another perspective of a man, because men, we have pride, right? And so we want our words to be heard, right? We want to be known for keeping it real, right? That's what we want to be known for. We keep it real, right? And so we will do that with women, right? But we have to connect the men and women entrepreneurs of the world, right? Especially those of color, right? I'm busy, I'm hustling, I'm grinding, but I got time for you, sister. If you need a quick question, you got a quick question, and I can help you, blah, 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 blah. Just be a thought partner with you, help you throw some things out, get a different perspective. Brothers have to let the women know that we're here for you. You can't just expect them to know that. You have to let them know that. And see, that's the difference. And so that's what builds my circle of women, because I let them all know I'm here for you. So they support me back. And that leads to the success of anything I do. That's how it all works.
And like you said, that sister who y'all bumping heads with in the morning, but you walk by in the hallway, it's like, you all right, little brother? Oh, yeah. That's my little brother, y'all.
Right.
And
Yeah.
keep it. It means something when you got an older cousin or somebody in school, especially walk by. Yeah, that's my little guy. Hey, are you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. That's your sister? Yeah, that's my sister.
Yeah. I had it.
Everybody looking around was like, all right. It means something because 40 years later, you know what I'm saying, 45, whatever years later, it's still in the air. Let's talk about your first events that you started doing. And it can be, you can go back as far as Vallejo before you did anything in LA, wherever your first event was. When did you know you wanted to do events bringing people together?
Okay. So it did start in Vallejo. That's what let me know, an experience in Vallejo let me know that I have influence.
Mm-hmm.
That's my first thing. So what would happen is, this is when my son was, shortly after he was born. My son was about 1 year old, not 1 year old, about 1 year old, right? I grew up in South Vallejo the first half of my life, and then the second half, at least before 24, right? And then North Vallejo. So Vallejo was small, and the high school and junior high school was determined by almost what side of the freeway you was on. Just one major freeway that goes through. You got some on the outskirts, got one major freeway. So you could go to school, elementary and junior high school. Like, you can go to elementary school with some people that you don't go to junior high school with.
Yeah.
And then when you get in high school, you can be back in school with the same people you went to in
elementary school,
in elementary, right, that you didn't see in junior high, right?
Right.
And so, in addition to that, I grew up on South Vallejo, then I moved to North Vallejo as I got older, right? In my upper teens, right? So now I'm developing a group of friends from two different sides of the town, of a small town, right? So now I know everybody from everywhere.
Right.
And so then at one point I was going to one high school, dating some girl in the other high school. It was only two public high schools at the time.
Right.
I played basketball, she played basketball. So there's that popularity, you play sports, whatever. So I got to know, supporting my girlfriend, I'm going to her games at the other high school, right? And so by default, I got to know a lot of people, right? And so there's a time where the summertime would come, and some friends and I, we decided, one day I decided, let's just play let's organize some softball games, right? And that started out. So Vallejo, like any urban city, it has its areas. People have their little sections that they represent, parts of town they represent. Not necessarily hate. There's some small beats, but nothing major, right? Because there is a small town. You get to know people. You can almost date your cousin, if you wanted to in that town. People grew up there, right? And so
right.
I almost did one time, to be honest with you. So, and so I started throwing, me and one other friend, softball games. And what happened is we would go every Sunday.
So right? Softball games?
Softball games. We picked the park. Now, me being, you'll know this by whatever, but, me being who I am, I'm trying to accommodate everybody, right? So when I picked the park, it also had a place for a kids play. But it was kind of new at the time, right? Now you go to the park, there's always a play area, right? Back then, that wasn't necessarily the case 30 years ago.
Especially for baseball parks, yeah.
Right. So I picked a park where not only you can play softball, right, but you got a place for the people who want to just come watch. So you can bring your whole family there. If you weren't playing, you can go play with the kids at the playground, right? So what happened was, when I put the word out, I'm getting people from all over town, right? All over town. People who maybe you don't see around each other, right? Mm-hmm. And so this was happening on a consistent basis. It went for years. Every summer we knew this was happening, right? And then at the end of the softball game, people go back to their areas and go play dominoes and spades and unos at three different homes, 3 or 4 different homes. Everybody went back to their clique. But that was the one time everybody would come together, right? And it got to the point it became so popular. At the park, there was like red curbs, parking curbs, red, don't park here, it's in the red, whatever. And then so sometimes police would just roll by, right? And people would start to run and move their car. And then one day the police wasn't even tripping. So it got to the point where the police would roll up, see we didn't have no problem, we're not bothering the homes in the neighborhood, whatever. So it got to the point where police would stop, look at the game, watch the game for a minute, and go about their business. And at one point, no one worried about their car or getting a ticket for being parked in the red, because the police would just let us just do our thing. It's about 50, 60 people out there just having a good time. And so this went on for a long time, right?
And how old were you when you started that?
Oh man, let's see. So I came to LA when I was 24. So my son was 1. My son is now 30. Matter of fact, he'll be 31 in about a week and a half, as a matter of fact.
Oh
So,
wow.
so how old I was? 20 years old.
30
20,
years old,
21,
right.
yeah, about 20 years old because I had my son when I was 21. Right. So about 20 years old when I was doing it. So, and that was a couple of years we did it. So, started probably about 19, 20, 21 years old. I was doing this.
So
Right.
were it mostly young people or mixed, young and old, because his family's coming?
I would say varied. It would vary from about maybe from 19. I was one of the youngest. I was amongst the youngest. So I would say up to about 24, 25.
Okay. Okay.
Up to that point. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And then a few speckled here and there, you know, in either
Was this
direction.
every Sunday, once a month?
Oh, this was every Sunday. During the summertime, this was every Sunday. Yeah. So people would bring their grill sometime, they bring their food, whatever, you know, and just make a day of it. Right? Get about 2 or 3 games in. You know, women always played. Now the women were athletes too now. They could play some ball. Right? That was one thing. So it wasn't about
That's a softball.
Back then, you wasn't, if you had a girl, if you had 2 women on your team, you were not at a disadvantage. Right? These girls could play some ball. Right? So it was competitive. So it was fun. Talk crazy, drink, whatever. Some people would argue, you know, whatever, but it was all love. Right? And so, yeah, so that's when I first learned that, you know, me and my partner, Poop, you know, we started putting this thing together on a regular basis, and it was just all love. Like I said, it was cats from different sets coming together, right? And so, like I said, by the time I got here, I guess I still had that bug. What brought the bug back, here, me in LA, is that, you know, it's a certain way we party in LA, in the Bay Area, a certain ways. There's not a whole lot of hangups, right?
Right.
So,
Meaning they go all in. They
yeah,
go all in.
exactly, you know.
It's a
and
party.
Yeah, and my little management skills came from my first job was bagging groceries. I became what was called the head bagger. Like there was no such thing of a head bagger, right? Next thing you know, I'm 18, 19 years old, and I'm managing like 16 people, writing schedules down and all that kind of stuff. So that's where my management skills first came from. I didn't know that at the time, right?
Right.
And so I get to LA and I go out to a few spots. I'm young, 24, 25, and I'm seeing the way some of these club promoters do their thing. I'm like, you ever get that feeling where you say, you know, this is cool, but I wouldn't do it like this, right? That happened one too many times, and I said, you know, I'm just gonna, if I want what I want, I'm gonna do one myself, right? And that's what made me say, you know, I think I want to do my thing. And then that's shortly after that. That's when I ended up. I had a 9 to 5. To get a 9 to 5 when I moved to a new part of town, said, let me get something till I reestablish myself, right? Then I got fired. I got fired about a week after moving to a more expensive apartment, right? And on another part of town, I'm like, wow, okay, right?
How you do it?
But it happened right before my birthday. So my previous staff that I just had, I got fired from, they brought a birthday cake to my house. Like, we miss you already. It's been a couple of weeks, whatever. They brought a birthday, so they showed me love. The people that actually work for me showed me love, right? So I didn't leave because of no situation like that. That's when I ran across Stevie's, right? I just happened to move blocks from there, right? And so I'm popping up. I'm like, let me get to know my good neighbor. I ain't got no job. So let me run around and, you know, get to know my neighborhood a little bit, right? I ran across Stevie's, just walking in the neighborhood where I walked in there daytime. And Stevie's was open for lunch and cute girl behind the bar, right? So lunchtime, so it ain't busy. So I'm sitting at the bar talking to Crystal, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm coming back more and more. Then one day she said, you should come back on the weekends. There's got a live band and crowd. So I did. And then long story short, I became a regular. Stephen Jr. was managing at the time, whatever. He and I became cool. And then I'm watching how they run things. And I'm like, I think this could be ran better, right? And I can't help that. You can call it arrogance or whatever. But I said, I think this could be ran better. So I worked out something with him, and they wanted me to come just when I can, right? I said, well, I can't commit to every weekend because I got my own things going on now, right? I just got into the whole limo business, whatever. Right. And then Stevie said, well, we would love to have you whenever you can make it, and we'll compensate you for it, right? So the other things I started doing while I couldn't come, they got organized, so I didn't have to be there all the time. So next thing I know, I'm at Stevie's almost 5 years, almost every weekend for 5 years, helping him manage the crowd. So I'm developing relationships right? The
Right.
place gets even more popular. I develop relationships and friends or whatever. So I'm seeing that even though I'm not, I'm just there open. I mean, just there helping. But people see me as management now because I'm kind of like managing how things going on. So now my
Right.
brand, so to speak, you know, popularity came through there, right? And so like, okay, I think we can do this better. So I said, I think I want to do my own thing, right? And so I went to Stevie, say, hey, I want to do this situation here. And he said, okay. And so we tried it, mediocre in the beginning, made a few tweaks. And then I had Hitmakers First Fridays for the next 5 years. It was the
Yeah,
longest. It was the longest tenure of a black event at a black restaurant for 5 years that was successful. I sold about 200 dinners a night
in the valley.
in the valley. Right?
So let me say something, because you said something key, and this is for our promoters and people that's looking to do special events and whatever city you are across the nation, across the world. You said you were dealing with them for 5 years before you went to him and said, "Hey, I'd like to do something."
Right. Yeah.
So that's key. The relationship. Now I know. Now don't get me wrong. I know you've been. No, I can't. I have to. Because even when I think about jazzism, and we'll get into jazzism, but how important is it for you to establish a relationship, or how long do you look to establish in relationships with people before you use, quote unquote, use their venue for your brand?
Well, the relationship comes with. It's not that I look for it to be a certain long, right? You go by feeling.
I feel right.
Some relationships develop over short periods of time. Some take longer. When I started working with Stevie, I had no intentions. I was just wanted to help. I was just wanted to help a black business be successful. So I was giving them my services for free until he decided to start paying me, right?
Right.
And at that time, then it worked out. Like I said, I was out of work anyway. So even when I went back to work, I was making extra money. My son came down to live with me, so I got to pay bills, take care of him, right? So as a single parent, whatever. And so,
right.
But no, it just built up. And so what happened is I built the relationships, Troy. Here's the thing. Here's the key. It's not always just a relationship with the person that runs or manages or owns the venue. I started developing relationships with the staff and the customers. That's usually, right? Or someone, right. Or a relationship with someone who has that relationship.
Right.
And so that's what happened there, right? Like I said, I was there, but by this time I'm developing, like, Stevie wasn't at the time, he wasn't thinking about collecting emails and stuff like that.
Right.
I got on top of that. They hired some outside companies once I suggested it for them, right? Mm-hmm. What happened is I said, Steve, I had a thing was going on, and I said, Steve, I got to go. I'm gonna be around for a while, whatever. And I said, but I got some things that you could do. So I actually wrote down some things on paper. He said, here's some things I think the company, your restaurant needs some improvements on. Try these out, blah, 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 right? And he'd follow up on some of them, right? And hired outside companies, started trying to find creative ways to build their audience and mostly retain their audience. Started finding creative ways to get their contact list so they can start doing their email marketing. And also hire a manager that can help with this. And I saw him one day, I went up there and he said, DeAndre, try some of the things you said, but it's not quite doing it the way you could do it. Right? And that's when he offered me, say, hey, I would love to, whatever, right? So, but what happened is I developed the relationships with the people now. And how that happened, when I started getting email address and phone numbers, right? I'm starting to know these people by name. Because, you remember stuff when you write it down, right? Or you put them in your phone. So now I'm calling people by name as they walk in. So I'm developing relationships with the audience. And so the difference is when I went from just helping run the place to doing my own event, I didn't have to do much. All I do is tell people, hey, y'all, what's up? I'm doing this thing. I know you guys are regulars, but on this particular Friday, I need you to come. On any other night, if you don't come any other day, make sure you come on this particular Friday, right? So that's how it started, right? So now I'm developing relationships because now in order to get in, you got to, it's whatever the price is, 15 at the door, 15 at the door, but 10 if you RSVP, right? So of course to save that $5, they got to email me the RSVP. right?
Right.
And so I'm getting to know these people by name, because in order to get their name, I gotta look at you. Hey, my name is Shonda, and so I'm getting to know them as they come in and check their name off on a list. But it took patience. It took patience that happened. If you're in a hurry, because it was more about the rest. It was more about the relationships than the money for me. Right. It was more about that. I got compensated for my time. That was more important to me than anything. So that's why when I do events, people say, well, how you make money? I've had managers and owners say, well, how are you going to make money? Because I never came in saying I want 20% of the bar, I want 20% of the food. I said, no, I don't worry about that. I said, I don't want to worry about that at the end of the night. Just let me make my money at the door, and I don't have to worry about whether I'm getting paid right or not. I said, that brings friction sometimes. Even when both parties mean well, when things don't add up, it can build friction. So to avoid that, right, when you don't have no friction and everybody's making money, the relationship gets even stronger. So even when I'm not there anymore, I can make a phone call and say, hey, I got a friend named Troy coming down for dinner. I'm not going to be there, but can you take care of him? Right?
Right.
So the relationship goes even after I leave the venue. And so that, and even with the staff, right? And so, and breaking bread with the staff as well, right? That happened. Like for me to go and tip the band or tip the, the waitresses and the servers and the bartenders, when I had a good night, I went and tipped them as well.
Yeah, I remember you talked about how important it was in each event. I saw it at Stevie's, I saw it with Mixology and Jazzism, and I remember how important you said it was to make sure you took care of the staff. And initially, I thought you were talking about, okay, you taking care of your staff. I said, no, my people somewhat volunteer until we can get to that point. So I'm talking about the venue staff.
Right. Because those are the ones who are interacting with your crowd, Troy. Right? When they think highly of you, they're going to treat your audience well. And they're going to bend over a little further than they normally would. Like, it's going to be a party when something's not right. It's going to be a priority to them to make sure you're happy. Because the way they feel about you. And they do that by taking care of your audience. You have to make it feel like we're all in this together. Right. You have to make sure that your team and your staff, as well as the venue staff, see it all as we all have one goal: to take care of the audience, no matter where they come from, to take care of them and make money doing it. So you have to let the staff know, yeah, I'm here, I'm bringing all the bodies, whatever, but you are valued. You're my extra eyes and ears as well as my team is. Right? And I'm going to take care of you. You will never walk away. When I do an event, you will not be disappointed at the end of the night, right? Because I make them feel like, I let them know they can come to me when there's an issue. Because there's been times, DeAndre, this customer over here, this was happening right here, right? I say, don't worry about it here. I call one of my teammates, whatever, or I take care of it. I say, I got you. They spent all that money and didn't tip you. That's very rare that it happened. But sometimes people will forget to take care of that. If they want to tip cash, they'll forget. They get caught up saying goodbye to all their friends because of the birthday party and it's gone. But they didn't cover this, or this one girl ordered some at the last minute. And I was like, you are not going to be paid for anything you didn't recover from my audience. They knew that. If they felt shortchanged, they knew I was going to dig in my pockets. Oh, no, you will not be shortchanged on my night.
Right.
Either we're going to all make money or none of us going to make money. So everyone knew that. When I say everyone, I mean the venue staff.
Now I got the great thing about this, I was talking to somebody earlier, and me and you powwow a lot because we're consultants. We can consult people on different things and how to pull the trigger on certain things. But when it comes to the events, it's golden. But and I know I'm gonna forward this to them as well, because a lot of stuff you confirmed with stuff I was trying to tell them. I was like, look, this guy ain't even from the East Coast. I'm trying to tell you. This is people. Right. But I want to talk about this because I love themes. You know how we love themes for events, and we of the same cusp. We love music, we love jazz, and but in shifting themes and what you think may have caused this. Stevie's, for all intents and purposes, even though there's some sexy people there. If I met you at Stevie's, I'm make sure.
This is true.
It was not a sexy night. It was food, it was fellowship, it was fun compared to jazzism. Jazzism from the beginning was just sexified. I don't know. Now, not on purpose, But when I say sexy, I'm not saying just they had strippers there. If they were strippers there, they were fully dressed. But they they weren't no strippers on poles.
Till 6.
When I say sexy, huh?
They're fully dressed till 6. No,
Fully dressed
right.
till 6. No. But even at mixology to the what was the other spot that went
Next door lounge.
Next door lounge, the energy was different. Some of the same people, but the energy was different. What was it? Well, was it just because Stevie's had a heavier cuisine and you had a lot more singing and talking from the hosts and the music side? What made jazzism a sexier thing? Was it that it was a microcosm of the Stevie's situation? What was the difference that you saw? I saw it, but did you see it?
Absolutely. It was all calculated. It's a method to the madness. It was all calculated. Every bit of it. It was all calculated.
Y'all getting juiciness.
So let me tell you the difference. Okay. Remember, Stevie existed before I got there, right? By quite some time. 6, 7 years, whatever. Right? So Stevie's existed. So what I did is I developed relationship with the audience Stevie's already had. Right. So I didn't choose that audience. I didn't handpick that audience, right? I just developed a relationship with the existing audience, right? And made an event out of it and found a way to monetize it. The people that became VIPs, I chose them, right? And so, and then Stevie had his own. He had his regulars, because one thing I don't do is when I have an event, I don't shut out the restaurants, the venues, regulars.
Right. They used to come
night, but your people can still come in.
Hour.
Because what I don't want to do is come have an event at your restaurant, and because it's my night, your regulars who didn't know, they just coming down because they always come down, and they get to the door like, oh, it's a special event tonight, sorry, right? Because now you ruined their night, because it's 8 o'clock now, 9 o'clock now. They got friends flew in from Houston that they say, I'm gonna take you to this nice spot, blah 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 blah, and then all of a sudden
my
get
spot.
In. Right, and now they can't get in. They got to find out something to do at night. I said, I would never turn away your regular customers or anyone that's clearly don't know who we are, but they coming to support you. I would not turn away not $1 for you. Most people will be okay with that, because if you bring them 5, 10,000, they're okay if you turn around 50, 60, 80, 100, 200. I said, no, I won't do that, because I believe in business. People have to have confidence in their experience whenever they go there. You don't want them to feel like they have to call to see what's happening to come support you, right? Reason why fast food joints and other brand name places have their loyal customer, because they already know what they're going to get before they go. They don't have to call and see what's on the menu. They know. I don't care what McDonald's adds or Burger King. There's going to always be a Big Mac, some fries, and apple pie. There may be other things added, but we know, right? They know that they say, I don't like the Big Mac. I'm gonna go across the street to Jack in the Box because I know I'm gonna get what I want there. So in restaurants, it's the same thing. When you get your loyalties, you may change some things, but your staple items are gonna be there, and the things that's built around them. Everybody has their favorite dish that they come back for, and they let their friends choose other stuff. But you got to have confidence that you're gonna be who you are every time I go there. And if you're open till 10, I'm expect you to be open till 10 all the time, unless you say otherwise. But that otherwise have to be all the time as well. So the consistency is how I built that audience with Stevie's. Okay, so when Stevie's dissolved, when I had to leave and couldn't come back, I was busy. Right. When I went to Jazzism, when we went to mixology, right, I went there. And now I get to hand pick my audience. It's brand new. I picked a sexy venue because Stevie's was nice, right? The venue was nice and decent, but it wasn't sexy, right? The audience was good looking. And they had, the audience made good money and whatever, things like that. It just wasn't sexy to me, right? It was attractive, but not sexy. That's sex appeal, right? So when I went to Jazzism, the audience and the venue has to match. The music has to match. You went from attractive to nice to whatever. You went from there to sexy the moment you made it jazz versus R&B. Right? And so now it's also a partly covered and uncovered in LA, right? Now it's the norm. There were plenty back then in 2014, 15. There were plenty, but it wasn't the norm, right?
And
that
also,
exploded when the pandemic came.
It was 3 things: covered, uncovered, and rooftop.
Exactly. Handpicked.
And we'll say it again.
Handpicked.
Handpicked and rooftop and a place with a good busy vibe. For those that don't know, mixology was in the middle of the middle of the Grove near the farmers market. It was like everything was like bing 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 bing. But according to what you were doing, because if anybody else tried to, because there were some limitations there. There was some sound limitations, some things like that. But I wanted to, and I knew from knowing you, I knew it was intentional. But it's good for people that's looking now that want to do events, that's looking to do special events, that's wondering why when I go here I feel like this, and when I go here I feel like this. And I'm glad that was the hand-picked thing. Now, what did you? And like you said, you took time to do it. You took time to handpick, and we know we had to do a part 2.
I handpicked my team. I got to get that in there.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hit.
Can I go there now?
Yes.
Okay. I've been waiting. So I handpicked my team, the women and the men, right? So, but let's go about the women, because brothers, there's primary promoters in LA, brothers, men, right? And they get the cute girls, right? Because they say that sells. But they get the girls that dress a certain way and whatever. My goal, my dear friend, Mr. Troy Rawlings, was to get the attractive woman who dresses classy and sexy at the same time with a matching attitude, right? And got brains, or should I say, and have brains.
Right.
Right? All those mattered, right? So when you get 2 or 3 of those around you at your events, what happens is this. When the brothers come, they say, man, and I've got this maybe several hundred times, man, you got some of the baddest, I'm going to just say it like brother said, man, you got some of the baddest chicks always at your spot, the ones that work for you, but yet they're approachable. They cool. They're not stuck up.
He's smiling. They attentive. You need anything else?
Yeah, exactly. They got sense of humor. They'll flirt back with you innocently. They hella cool, dude. I'm coming back and I'm bringing my boys, right? That's important. But at the same time, the classy part is this. They didn't walk around like they know the baddest chicks, right? One, for 2 reasons, okay, that I think, right? 2 reasons. One, they just humble people.
Right.
2, because I handpicked the audience, they weren't always the only baddest chicks in the house. Right? So bad chicks get humbled by other bad chicks. They get comfortable.
The badness was just hitting everybody all up the same.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, brothers don't talk about brothers like that.
People hate to hear this. See, but I'm gonna keep it real. People hate to hear what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna keep it real with you. All right? 100. You hang with people who are like you. Now, we say a lot of times, you are the company you keep, right? But we say it when it's convenient for us. But let me tell you something. There's no discrimination in my end, right? However, when you see cute girls hang out, when they're not with you, they usually hang around with cute girls. Thin girls hang around with thin girls, thick girls hang out with thick girls, and so on. Sharp-dressed brothers hang around with sharp-dressed brothers, right? And so you're going to get the way your promoters and your staff look. That's who's going to come to your venue, because that's who they hang with. You go someplace where a lot of people smoke, they draw other smokers.
You're right.
Right? This is the science of it. When you're doing it for the long term, you go for the science of it, and you don't have to sell it. When you're a regular quote-unquote promoter, you're just trying to make your money, it's all about the money. Let's get as many people in here as we can so we can make our money, so we can make that bag. That was never my thing. My thing was be an entrepreneur, build the right audience, and get money out of these people for the rest of my life and their life.
Right.
Because I put them in a certain atmosphere. I just need their contact information. I'll get money from them. I need their trust. I need a relationship. I'll get money from them later. That's why I haven't had a cover charge in like 6-7 years. Right? So I handpicked the people with the right attitude. They can look good all they want to with the right attitude. I had people who dress modern. Right?
Right.
Not a whole lot of old school stuff that make you stand out. And so I would say to myself, and my crew behind the scenes, I said, I want the women to come to my events to be attractive, not an attraction. Right? So you couldn't come scantily dressed at my event and you not get pulled to the side. Like, look, you showing too much. Other cats, other promoters, they like it, draws attention. I don't want that kind of attention.
Right.
And you know what?
And you're talking more so about the ones that work with you.
Right, yeah. They come, the one working, they have a certain way.
Because they actually govern, even with the guys. And the guys, you know, if you came in there and you didn't have it, I don't know a day that I didn't think, okay, am I going to wear a V-neck and a shirt, or am I going to wear a button down? You just walk in, you like, I need a button down. Do I need a hat today? Do I need a sweat? It makes the guy, like, you didn't see any guys in T-shirts.
Right.
And it wasn't that, you know, that's the LA dress code for just going out. I've never seen a guy in T-shirt and shorts, unless it was a V-neck T-shirt and dressy short. You know, it was funny because there's no dress code on the thing.
I don't have to put a dress code. When you have the right audience, when you mess with grown folks, they know how to be when they leave the house. Right? You ain't never have to tell me how to dress. You say, hey D, come to my party, come to my event. You know how I'm coming.
Yep.
Right? It's simple as that. It's, you know. And when you have your events, you don't have to say that. Right? And so that's it. But here's the thing. The host, meaning me, you, and our team, we present ourselves a certain way, not just on event night, but every day. Right. You know, no matter if DeAndre shows up, that's me. I don't care where it is. You know how DeAndre's going to show up. This is his style. This is his flavor. This is his brand. Right? Even if I come in a sweatsuit, you see me in a sweatsuit last week. It's going to be a nice looking, put together. Not to say
top, bottom, match.
Right? Exactly. It's just put together. But this is my brand like every day. And it's on purpose. It was on purpose before. Now it's habit. Right?
Habit, right.
But you draw the people that you are. As simple as that. Right? If you're doing about the money, then you try to get the money. I'm looking for the personnel. I'm looking for the audience, right? Because this is why, when you have that, that means if someone goes and references our event or any business that I do, when they go online and see the people I hang out with or at my events, this is why I can get in venues that they say, I didn't believe, when I did the mixology, they said they let black people do an event in the Grove. I heard that all the time. Right? I heard it all the time. But the owner of the venue knew me and he knew how I got down. That's how I got in there. Right? Same thing with when I went to the Next Door Lounge. I needed help to get in that venue. They didn't know me, but someone they knew me, and I had to call him and say, "Hey, man, talk to these people because they give me a hard time. They don't know me. They don't know me from can of paint."
Right.
And when I gave them what I wanted, when I gave them how I wanted to get down, they said, "Well, how do you make money?" I said, "Don't worry about that." So I was like, "No, I don't want none of your money. I'm not going to do a cover charge." They said, "Well, how you make money?" So what they thought is I was stupid. Like, this dude don't know what he's doing. Right? That's how you look at it. I said, okay. I called my dude, Phil. I said, Phil, you just had an event there. I need you to come down and make this happen. See, that's what entrepreneurs got to know how to do as well. Use your relationship and your resources to get what you want sometimes. So I said, okay, Phil, I need you to sit down. Phil came. We made an appointment with Phil. Me, Phil, and the owner. We sat down. Probably the deal was done. The deal that had taken me maybe almost a month. Going back and forth, talking to different people, getting fake names. You know how venues, the managers get fake names sometimes. We don't know it's them. Whatever. No. I called Phil. They made an appointment. Me, Phil, and the owner sat down, made a date. We see about 2 days. Okay. We sat down. Let me tell you, the deal was done in about 11 minutes because of the relationship Phil had.
Right.
So, okay, you roll with Phil, you must be straight. Right. And they had just done business with Phil maybe with a month or two before. Right. Because that's how I found the place. I went to Phil's event and said, oh, this is nice. Right. And then Phil said, hey, it might be nice. You might want to do something here. So I'm knocking on, I'm trying to get in there, and then boom, boom. Right. But it took Phil to come to Jazzism through who's had a relationship with my partner, Chavez, right, to come up here and say, man, this is nice, whatever, right? Phil later had a party at that venue, right? So Phil wanted to do a party at that venue. Since I have a relationship with the venue, I say, hey, look, one of my friends want to do a thing there. He want to just buy out the place or whatever. They said, okay, cool. They didn't even ask no questions.
Right.
About how many people? About 80 to 100. Okay, cool. Got it done. Not because of my not because of my mouthpiece, the gift of gab, because of the reputation of me and my circle that I handcrafted. And when I brought on my partner, Chavez, who I thought we met through a mutual friend, and you know, as long as you know, I did everything by myself, right? Chavez was the first person I ever called partner. When you have a cat that has the same, that rolls like you roll, as far as, and mind you, his audience was just as, at the same level, I thought, which was someone told me would be, right? But then also his respect that he got from men and women that I thought was like me, if not better.
Like, shout out to the Chicago Cats and Extra Mile Sauce.
That's right. Exactly, right? So if you of that circle, and you got me and Chavez and their friends and our team, right? We knew who was going to show up. Right. And so our brand is where it is now. And you know, and the thing about it is that I stand on my own and Chavez stands on his own. And so Chavez is now friends of my audience, and I'm now friends with a lot of his people, right? And so now it makes, no matter what we do, if you see a photo, it's going to look nice. So whenever we refer somebody to that, they say, okay. And I get some of my clients that way. They say, okay, I see what he about, you know, whatever, you know. And so here's the thing. This is how the personal level gets to the cross of the business level. Two things. If I'm going to do, this is as a guy, if I'm going to do business with you, or if I'm going to call you my friend, there's one requisite that's over all of them. I have to know that you respect women the same way I do. If we're going to do business together, or if I'm going to call you my friend, not someone I know, like my dude, right? That means there's not an amount of alcohol in LA County that's going to get you so drunk where you disrespect one of my lady friends.
Even if they was giving it to you for free through an IV.
Either it's in you, either it's in you or it's not. Right? I don't care how drunk or high you get, you're not going to accidentally disrespect any of these ladies because it's who you are. That's how I decide who I'm going to do business with. And also on the same side is that how you treat people, meaning our guests, I have to know the same with you. The same thing. Not that you could bring a lot of people. I have to know that you can treat your people with respect, well, most likely, and accommodations. So I know when my back is turned, or if I'm not there, I'm on the other side of the room, you treat my people the same way. And I'm going to make sure you know I'm going to do the same thing. Like, hey, D, I got some friends coming down. They're going to get there before me. Take care of them. Chavez would just give me the phone number, or give them my phone number. Okay, okay. Yeah, Chavez told me he was coming. And no. And people understand, this is about your brand all the time. You have to prioritize your brand all the time.
All the time.
It don't stop. And in every aspect of it, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. In the end, you rambled off some of the different businesses that I own or co-own. And you know, you only rambled off 4 or 5 of the 10 or 20 that I'm associated with, right? But let me tell you something. The only reason I'm able to do that is because the audience that I've built, I'm getting money from different ways from the same people and or their friends because of how they feel about me or my business or my circle. Not even just me, sometimes off someone I know.
Right.
DeAndre forwarded this link. His friend has this business. He forwarded me a link. I'm going to check him out. Right? And so we got to remember, this goes. You're going to get what you put out there. Right? It doesn't matter. Not necessarily on purpose. However you move in the world's going to respond with what you gave it. It's going to reply to you. Whatever message you send out there, the world's going to reply to that message. And it's going to be like a life algorithm. You put BS out there, the world's going to bring BS. It's going to reply with BS. You put upscale classy out there, the world's going to reply with upscale and classy. That's just a game. Life and business. We treat them like they're separate, but they're not. It's you. You're the common denominator. And the way you move is going to affect both of those, personal and business. There's no way around it.
Like my partner Yonda always says, is that, Troy, you're the main event, the main attraction. When they come for you, they come for action.
This is what it is.
You are your brand. Like I say, we're going to do a part 2 That was our first hour. We're gonna do a part 2 of this.
Right.
But I knew I wanted you to be. I didn't know. Sometimes you don't know why, but y'all see, I ain't asked a whole bunch of questions. I'm like, because it's when they say iron sharpens iron, there's a honor of reciprocity that goes beyond when you're talking to somebody that honors people. And like I say, I'm learning. I always tell people my friends are better than me, and they make me better. They're supposed to. And so, brother, thank you for gracing the 100th episode. We got to do a part 2. We got some more stuff coming. And you'll see some promotion in the bottom of the clip for the YouTube clips, the Instagram, stuff like that. Because I'm loving some of the products. So this young man has merch now, including the CB collection. And we gotta on the part 2, we're gonna talk about how some of your merchandising, some of the stuff. But let people know how they can get in touch with you, because I know a lot of people. I know from this alone, somebody gonna be calling your phone because they're interested in something, especially here in Los Angeles. A lot of times, coast to coast, it's available, but here in Los Angeles, especially, we're blessed to live in a place where people vacation to. So,
Right.
So the year-round events, they do happen. But I like everything you said. So we bless us. But tell people how to get in touch with you.
LA Biz Guy is how to get in touch with me. It's spelled just like it sounds. LABIZ Guy. I know you've heard the name over this broadcast right here, but I do entrepreneur development. Help entrepreneurs make the right decisions, help them get more resourceful, and just condition their mind. People come to me about their business. I don't really focus on their business like a business coach. I do entrepreneur development. I focus on your mind and make you a better and sharper entrepreneur. LA Biz Guy is the same on Facebook, Instagram, and the website. LA Biz Guy, but I don't mind people calling me directly. It's free to call me. All right? You can follow me on social media, LA Biz Guy, but you can call me too. 323-273-6879. I'm not Hollywood. If you're an entrepreneur, you're considering being an entrepreneur, your brand, I don't care if it's business or you're an actor, you're still an entrepreneur. If you want to build your brand, just call me. Not for the business. Just say, hey, look, I got a quick question. 323-273-6879, or hit me at labizguy.com or on Instagram or Facebook. That's it. And let's step our game up together.
DeAndre Landers, my friend, my brother, part 1. Episode 100, I told y'all. Get it together. It's different.
I'm honored, my brother. I'm honored, my brother.
Thanks so much. Love you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
On the side.
Peace.